the destruction that's coming on America that we got to get right. How many of y'all actually believe that? Because I know a man that everybody prays and worship. They're going to have they name the street after him. And they're going to have a parade for him on Monday. But I want to show y'all something. Because they always give us the end of the speech. I have a dream that little black boys and black girls are going to one day be able to hold hands and live peacefully together. But I want to show y'all something. Because he knew more than what the average man knew that he knew. They don't give us the whole speech. This probably, I'm thinking like, dang, this is probably one of the reasons they killed him too. So I want to go, let's go to Isaiah 58:1 right quick. Because this is what we have to do. We have to come out here and speak the truth of the Lord, of the Bible. Isaiah 58:1, read that.
Cry aloud, spare not.
Bring it out, see, the Bible says, cry aloud and spare not. In the bootleg church, your feelings is always spared. They tell you, they lie to you and tell you, oh, if you sin, all you got to do is ask Christ for forgiveness and your sins will be forgiven. But that's not the truth. So we come out here to cry aloud and spare nothing. We're going to tell you the truth. No more cookie cutters. Go ahead.
Cry aloud and spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
So we indeed going to bring the loudspeaker. Because there's a lot of noise out here on Slauson and Western. So go ahead.
And show my people their transgression.
He says, show my people their sin. So this is what we out here to do. Martin Luther King, he had the good knowledge of the Bible. He was simple according to the Bible, just like a lot of us are. We say we got a personal relationship with God, but we don't even know the Most High God. We don't even understand the Bible and the scriptures that it speak of. But go ahead, read that.
And the house of Jacob their sins.
So we showing the children of Israel their sin. All right, go ahead, read that.
I have a dream speech. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
So we know that Martin Luther King, he was prolific in his speeches. He marched nonviolence. So he said this is going to go down in history. But they don't show in history the whole entire speech that Martin Luther King gave. But go ahead.
For 50 years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
Look that up, the Emancipation Proclamation. Look that information up. Go ahead.
This momentous decree is a great beacon of light and hope to millions of Negro slaves who have been seared in the flames of withering injustice.
So we still fighting for the same injustice that Martin Luther King fought for way back here. I want to show something because he mentioned the slaves that's still fighting for the same injustice. Hold that. Let's get Deuteronomy 28:68. Because we are indeed those slaves that are still fighting for justice today. We got even more groups that has come up since Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. We had the Black Panthers, the Brown Berets, now we got Black Lives Matter, right? We got the black activists, right? Go ahead, read that.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
See, these are the slaves that Martin Luther King spoke about in his speech. He said, we are indeed the slaves. The Most High said, we will go into captivity by way of ships. Go ahead.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
See, the Bible makes it clear who the so-called African American was sold to. It said we will be sold to our enemies. That's right. Who's our enemy here in America that Martin Luther King gave a speech against? So-called white men. They're the ones that he marched against peacefully, right? So go ahead.
Sold unto your enemies for bondmen.
So show me what black man, what Latino man, or what Native American was not in bondage to the so-called white man. Show me. Go ahead.
And bond women.
And we were sold for bond men and our women were taken. So go ahead.
And no man shall buy you.
See, way back then, Martin Luther King tried to redeem us. You had the Brown Berets tried to redeem us. You had the Malcolm X and the Muslims tried to redeem us. Even in recent years, you have Black Lives Matter tried to redeem us. And you even had a, what was that thing that Farrakhan said? for the last march they had, the Million Man March, ain't saved nobody. He said, or else. That was the speech, term of the speech. The so-called white man continues to kill us, and they were still killing us, and they was like, or else. That was the slogan. But after that, they still continue to kill the so-called black man, Latino, and Native American man. So go ahead, read.
It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free.
We still not free today. We don't have our own companies, we don't have our own land, and we still suffer at the hand of our enemies. Police brutality. Not only police brutality, you go to the stores, they put trisodium phosphate in your cereal. They put the things that's made in yoga mats, in your food, in your bread that you go to the, what's that sandwich place? Subway. You go to Subway, Togo's. They putting poison in our food to poison us. But you don't see no Subway in Hollywood. You don't see no Subway in Palos Verdes, right? But they got that junk in the hood. What's that? Little Caesars, man, that's straight poison. But go ahead.
But 100 years later, the Negro is still not free.
We still not free. This is what Martin Luther King was preaching against. But this, when he did this, he went against what he was brought into. The NAACP was published by white men to watch and have control over the African Americans. They ain't help nobody, right? But go ahead, which he was a part of. Go ahead.
100 years later, the life of the Negro is still badly crippled by the manacles of segregation. And the
manacles, that means chains. We still in chains. Not just the segregation, but we in chains here in America. You know, you have a dog on a leash so long, you let it go. You take the leash off of him, and he's still gonna roam around the house. He's not gonna go far. What happened to the so-called African American or the so-called Latino, the Native American, fought back against the white man? Oh, we got comfortable here. But go ahead.
And the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty.
See, we still on a lonely island of poverty here in America. Who do we go to get our jobs from? Okay. We still in poverty here in America. This is what MLK was really talking about, the part of the speech that they don't show you. They always say, I have a dream. And they cut it right there. But this is the beginning of his speech. This is how he starts off. But they never show you this in school. Well, go ahead.
A lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity.
See, we have it's prosperity all around America. But who stole it? The so-called white man. He stole this land. He prospered off the backs of the Latinos and the Native American and the African American man. But go ahead.
100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land.
See, this was written by Martin Luther King in 1962. This was the speech that he gave that they don't show us, showing that we still in poverty, we still enslaved. But it's still happening today, right? Why do we have to vote to be equal rights to the white man who stole this land? Does that make sense? Why is that he's controlling the land with his police force and they still doing all types of wickedness? Right? So go ahead, finish reading the speech.
So we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition.
See, it's a shameful condition that Martin Luther King recognized the white man has the black man in slavery. And we still enslaved today. But ain't nobody rising up and saying nothing. All they do is say, I have a dream. And they show you that Martin Luther King was saying that little black boys and white girls could hold hands and dance together. But he wasn't talking about that. He wanted true equality. He wanted true justice.
Bring it out.
But go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish reading it. Then we get that.
In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check.
He said we came to cash a check. But let's see how the Bible shows the significance of us being here in slavery. Now get that precept. That's Genesis 15, verse 13. Because Martin Luther King, he named 200 years of us being in slavery. But we still enslaved to this day. Well, go ahead.
And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
See, America, it was ours, but it was taken from us. And then the so-called white man during the 1600s went to Africa and got us and brought us over here on cargo slave ships. Well, go ahead.
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
See, we've been serving the white man, and they've been afflicting us 400 years, y'all. And it's right here. It's written in the Bible. It's written through history, through documents that our people have documented, and through the speech of MLK that they never show you. They always show you the end of it. But go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge.
See, the white man is going to get judged, as my brother was talking about earlier, with nuclear bombs and heat and your eyes and your body consuming away right there where you stand. So you got to get right, people. But let's get back to this speech. Because Martin Luther King was a heavy writer, and he wrote from the heart on this one. Go ahead.
When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note with...
He said they were signing a promissory note. But you know, if y'all look up Dred Scott, the so-called black man was not even considered a man in America.
That's right.
So this wasn't written to all people. But go ahead.
We're signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir.
See, every American. That's talking about the so-called white man, Amerigo Vespucci and his descendants. Because we are not Americans. We was born here. Some of us was brought here, and some of us was already here, which didn't go by the name American. African American, that's two continents. So how are you two different people? You can't be in two places at one time. So go ahead.
This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
See, our pursuit of happiness came when we were to keep God's law, which our people went away from it. Let's go to it right quick. Deuteronomy 28 and 1.
Yep.
Deuteronomy 28 and 1. This was our liberty, not just here in America, but this was the liberty for the so-called black man, so-called Native American, and the so-called Mexican. But go ahead. Because Mexican, that's not even a nationality. But go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
See, we were supposed to hearken to the voice of our God. But go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high, above all nations of the earth.
So why was we fighting for equality? Because, as Martin Luther King had here, we went away from the Most High God's law. We wanted to be equal with man when God said we will be above everybody on the face of the earth. But go ahead.
This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, will be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
But see, in his ignorance, he still wanted peace for everybody, which the Bible tells us to be at peace, but if possible, live peaceably with all men. But go ahead.
It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note.
See, Martin Luther King knew that America was full of SHIT. They didn't have no equality for the black man. And he knew it, and he wrote it in his speech, which they'll never show you. But go ahead.
Obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note.
See, he said they defaulted on the promissory note that they written to everybody. Ask the Native Americans, they know, they'll tell you, the so-called white man broke every last peace treaty they ever made. And they still break them today with us and with them. But go ahead, because ain't nothing changed. We still fighting for the same rights of equality, to protect ourselves, to have a good life, to live peaceably. But we can't do that when we got the predators policing us. When we have the predator that stole this land. But go ahead.
So far as her citizens of color are concerned,
Go ahead.
instead of
So now we're on the next part. That was the first part of Martin Luther King's speech. And now we're on page 2. It was pretty long, but go ahead. Hopefully we get through it. Go ahead.
Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check.
See? Martin Luther King recognized the white man is not fair to us.
That's right.
He's like, they gave us a bad check. Like they always do. You go borrow some money, they gonna overcharge you. He was like, man, they gave us a bad check. This check don't work. They stole our land. They took all the promise, the rich land, and gave us crap. That's the Native Americans. Where they at on a reservation? And they in the crappiest place on a reservation. With no crops on ground, where there ain't no water. It's crap there. And they living below the poverty line. $7,000 a year here in America. That's how much they making. Man, Martin Luther King knew that they wrote a check that they never intended to cash and give to us. But go ahead.
A check which has come back marked insufficient funds.
See, Martin Luther King knew the white man, he giving out fake checks. He said, this check got insufficient funds in it. I can't do nothing with this. This piece of paper is worthless. But go ahead.
But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt.
See, now let's see how the Bank of Justice is not bankrupt. Because God says he's going to pay vengeance to everybody that does something wrong to the so-called African Americans, the Latinos and the Native Americans, which are the Hebrew Israelites according to the Bible. Let's go to Psalms 94 and 20 right quick. And then I want you to get Habakkuk 2 and 10. Because they're going to get their payback. Psalms 94 verse 20, read that, brother.
Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee?
He said, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with us? Because they do what?
Which frameth mischief by a law.
See, they made mischief a law. We're going to go over here, take the land from the Native Americans. We're going to bring the Negroes over here, make them work for free, and then police them. So God, like, should the throne of iniquity have fellowship with us? No, they shouldn't. But go ahead, let's see what else they did.
They gathered themselves together and...
No, that's it. Let's go to Habakkuk. Because they said they framed mischief by a law. You know, they had a law called domicilium, which was if the land is not occupied, that they can take it, which they did. But go ahead, go ahead, read that. Because this is the justice that the Most High gonna bring on them.
Thou hast consulted shame to thy house.
Habakkuk 2, verse 15.
Woe unto them that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him.
No, verse 12, brother. Verse 12. My bad, that's my bad. Habakkuk 2 and verse 12.
Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood.
See, he said destruction is coming to them that built the town with blood. America was built on the blood of the African Americans, the Native Americans, the Latinos, and the Mexicans. So God is telling you all throughout the Bible that destruction is coming to this nation of people. So go ahead.
Establishes a city by iniquity.
He has established the city by iniquity, by lies, by falsehood. The Most High is going to punish them. Get back there. Read that. So now we're going back to the real speech of Martin Luther King, the entire speech. Go ahead.
But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt.
See, the Bank of Justice is not bankrupt. But Martin Luther King, he turned a blind eye to the injustice. He didn't want to fight, but go ahead.
We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vault of opportunity of this nation.
But the white man already showed us there was insufficient funds. He brought us over here on slavery, told us to vote, but didn't count our vote, beat the hell out of us. They were having peaceful protests. Martin Luther King went to jail countless numbers of times. And people were being killed. They were being beaten. They were being kicked around like dogs. But go ahead.
So we've come to cash this check.
See, he said we come to cash this check. He wanted justice, but he wasn't really ready to fight for that justice, which the Bible tells you to fight for. Go ahead.
A check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
See, he wanted the riches of demand and freedom and true justice. But the only way you're going to get that is you're going to have to fight for it. What does America do when they go to another land and they say the man is evil over there? They fight, right? They cause war. They go over there with bombs. Y'all seen what the orange man recently did over there in Iraq? What was his name? Donald Trump. He went over there and killed who? Soleimani. He went over there and killed the Iranian man. He killed the general. He started war. But go ahead. That's the only way you're going to have true justice. And I'm going to show you that according to the Bible. But go ahead.
We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now.
See, this is Martin Luther King's speech. He said we come to America to show them of what we need right now. And we still fighting for the same things, y'all. I hope y'all honor Martin Luther King by fighting, standing up in truth. Stop laying down. He showed us that laying down ain't gonna work. Well, go ahead.
This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off.
See, Martin Luther King was like, man, it ain't time to cool off. I need my people to get hot and heated. Y'all know how y'all get in an argument with your siblings, your brother, your auntie, your nephew, your cousin. You be mad as hell because they just stepped on your shoe or they did something wrong to you. But he like, man, it's time for us to get not cool off when we talking to this white man about true justice. Because our people are still being killed, they're still being raped. And they even added something new to the equation. Organ donors. 64,000 women go missing every year. And you know one of the things they doing today with a woman's organ uterus? They putting it in these homosexual men that want to have babies. Guess where they getting them uteruses from? These African American women that go missing every year. That go missing every month. How is it that America has the world's biggest military, the best intelligence, but they can't find one African American woman?
Bring it out!
And it's not just one that's missing. It's 64,000 African American missing women, but they can't find not one. They got cameras everywhere on these streets, but they can't find y'all women. So they still causing injustice to us. That's why I'm glad I read this speech. And Martin Luther King was like, it ain't time to cool off. It's time to heat up, turn up. That's right. Get busy, right? On some true justice. But go ahead.
This is no time to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism.
Wow! He said it ain't time to take the tranquilizer, because guess what the tranquilizer is today? Every black man, African American, Mexican was smoking weed, and it was illegal. But now they legalized weed. And where the fight go? Everybody want to get high and they just want to have fun. Y'all see it out here, people out here getting smoked out, getting weeded out, getting drunk, right here on the bus stops. Not knowing that, hey, your life is on the line. Because guess who took over? Guess who took over the weed? And now weed is synthetic. Look it up, K2. You got people going crazy from smoking weed. They don't get their mind back. But we gotta let that tranquilizer go. Because another trick they did when they gave out the weed, they like, oh, you wanna smoke weed? Go get a medical card. Act like you crazy. So you signed over your rights when you got that medical card. You signed over your rights when you got that medical card to buy a gun. Because you consider crazy now. And y'all went and didn't read the fine print. It's like, I just want to get high. But you didn't see the little clause in there that says you're crazy and that you're unfit to brandish a weapon and protect yourself.
That's right.
So that's one of the tranquilizers that you got right now. So read that again.
This is no time to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism.
See? Martin Luther King knew, but they knew too. That's why they'll never show you the full speech of I Have a Dream. But go ahead, finish reading.
Now is the time to make the real promises of democracy.
He said the real promise of a democracy. Does democracy really work? Because they play both sides. They got the Republican and the Democrat, which they both on the same side. That's right. You got one acting like they against each other, but they actually against us. Because when has the black man ever really got rights here in America? They give some homosexuals some rights because they gonna destroy their damn selves anyway. Right. But to us, they don't give us real rights. How is it that you have a nation of people that stole the country, now police the country? Rightfully. They can't. Y'all see it, police brutality. Black men, Latino men, and Native Americans are still getting killed at the hands of white men. And in some countries, they have a law to where if there are 5 Native Americans walking together, that's considered a gang and they can be shot up on, they can be killed, and that's in law. The same thing the police do to us. Let 5 black men go into the mall together. They're going to have security come and they're going to break y'all up. But go ahead. The same thing they do today. They put no loitering signs. Y'all see how the African Americans, how the brothers be cruising Crenshaw, just riding up and down the street, want to be peacefully. But they take that away from you too. But go ahead.
Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice.
See? Martin Luther King, he wanted justice. But the white man didn't want no justice. All he wanted was murder, 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 kill, kill, kill. And it's still happening today because our people are still fighting and voting over the same thing that Martin Luther King was fighting over years ago. But go ahead.
Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood.
See, this brother was prolific. He said now is the time to lift my people out of the social injustice of quicksand. If anybody know about quicksand, it looks normal. It looks good, like you can step on it. But once you step in it, you're going to go down like a rock. And if ain't nobody there to save you, you're not going to get up. Because you're going to sink real fast and you're going to die a horrible death. So Martin Luther King was like, man, it's time for us to get our people out of this quicksand. That's why we come out here on the streets today, to get our people out of the same quicksand that they fallen into today. But go ahead.
Now is the time to make justice a reality for all.
How we gonna make justice a reality? This is what Martin Luther King was really talking about. He said now is the time to make justice a reality. Back in 91, we had Latasha Harlan got killed at the liquor store right down here on Western, right? Yeah, let's read that right quick. Because this is what the Bible says. We're gonna get this precept, Romans 12 and 18. Go ahead, read that.
Romans 12 and 18. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
See? Now read what Martin Luther King said. Because the Bible says, if possible, live peaceably with all men. When somebody's killing you, beating you down, dragging you through the mud, is that a time of possibility when you can live at peace, brother? It's not, right? Hell no. Because they going to continue to wipe you out. Like they still wiping us out today? Because who holds the gun? Who holds the authority of the police? The so-called white man. But the Bible says it's possible. Sometimes it ain't possible to live with white people.
That's right.
But Martin Luther King knew that. That's why he wrote this speech. And that's why they silenced the beginning of his speech. And they only show you, oh, I have a dream. And they only tell you the part where one day, little black boys and little black girls and white boys, they're going to be able to hold hands. We can't truly hold hands because it ain't really peace. Because when you kill somebody and they're from another nation, that's really an act of war. Because we've been at war since we came to this ravaged country. But go ahead and read that.
Now is the time to make justice a reality for all.
See, Martin Luther King was like, now is the time to make justice. But they don't show you this part of the speech. Go ahead.
For all of God's children.
Who are God's children? So-called African American, Latino, and Native American men. Those are the children of God according to that Bible. But go ahead.
It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment.
See, he was like, it's going to be fatal for the urgency if America looks over this justice that we call it for. Because you know when they killed Martin Luther King, they had a hell of a riot. It wasn't just in one place. It was all over America. And you had the black man rising up. Mind you, they didn't have the gunpowder, but they had the willpower and they had the manpower. You think we still ain't got that manpower and that willpower today? That's something really, really happened. Let the people get in their mind like, hey, I'm going to have to die so my children can live. Which is happening today. And our people are really waking up. And I hope they show this part of the speech on Monday when they had a damn parade. And stop saying, oh, I had a dream. And they jump us down with that portion of the speech. And I'm going to say that for last. I didn't go into it first. But I want to get to this point. Because Martin Luther King was prolific in how he felt about the so-called white man. And he was like, we really ain't going to get no justice. Even though he was saying non-violent. But what do you have to do to really have peace after talking to somebody so long? Because they say, you schizophrenic, you crazy. And you keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. Ain't that what we've been doing? The same damn thing over and over and over and over. And they continue to kill us over and over and over. Poison us over and over and over, right? Well, go ahead and read that.
This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of...
Wait, hold up. Read that again. Read it with some power. Because this is the Martin Luther King speech that he was talking about. He said, man, go ahead and read it again, huh?
This sweltering summer of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until...
He said the sweltering summer of our content will not pass. He was like, man, enough is enough. We got to get it to him. Go ahead.
Will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom.
How do we get freedom? Y'all want me to show y'all according to the Bible? Because Martin Luther King believed in the Bible. Let's go to Leviticus 26. Leviticus 26 and 7. Martin Luther King believed in the Bible. That's why he read it. If you read, when we go through it, a lot of the things he was speaking, part of his speech came straight from the words of the Bible. Yep, I want that. Start at verse 6.
Leviticus 26 and 6. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid.
See, God said ain't nobody gonna make us afraid. But when we not afraid, this is the power he give us. Go ahead.
And I will rid evil beasts out of the land.
See, he said I'm gonna rid the evil beasts out of the land. The so-called white man is the evil beast that's in this land. We got animals all throughout the land, but the true evil beast is the white man. Go ahead.
Neither shall the sword go through your land.
See, the sword ain't gonna come through our land no more. Which is coming through our land. The modern day sword today is a gun. But we don't hold them things, right? But go ahead, let's see what the Most High said he would do for us.
And ye shall chase your enemies. And they...
Wait, hold up. He said we'll chase our enemies. And do what with them?
And they shall fall before you by the sword.
That means justice is gonna come through a fight. Through the so-called African American, Native American, and Latinos fighting that true enemy. The ones who stole this country, the ones who killed our forefathers, right? That's the justice we're going to have. Go ahead.
And 5 of you shall chase 100.
It said 5 of y'all. Just a little of y'all. You're going to take a whole bunch of y'all. It said 5 of y'all should take 100. Go ahead.
And 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight.
He said 100 of y'all going to chase 10,000 men. Just imagine, you got 100 black men, 100 Latinos, 100 Native Americans chasing 10,000. Wait, that'll be 30,000 white men away. But that's the power we have in this Bible when you believe in the Most High God. And that's the power of the speech that Martin Luther King was delivering. But the people didn't get it because they were taught so many lies. Go ahead.
And your enemies shall fall before you by the sword.
It said your enemies gonna fall before you by the sword. Who were the enemies of the Israelites? Of the so-called African Americans, the Latinos, and the Native Americans, the Europeans, the Caucasians, the Asians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arabs, the Iranians. You have enemies all throughout the Bible that brought us into captivity. But this is the biggest captivity that we have ever been in together. So let's get back to the Martin Luther King speech.
is not an end, but a beginning.
He said 1963 was not an end, but a beginning. This is when Martin Luther King wrote the speech. He died, what, 67? That's when he was assassinated by the U.S. government. And they tried to blame it on one of their own crazy and deranged people to bow down. But the family was like, hell no, that one man did not have enough power to meet my family member at this hotel and kill him from the top of a building. He had help, which was the U.S. government. They killed Martin Luther King. Why? To silence him, because he realized that he had brought his people into a burning house. Huh? Say that again, brother?
crap ain't shit. I'm from Texas, dog.
That's right. You already know what's up. But go ahead.
Ain't shit.
Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow out steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening.
Wait, hold up. Is this the Martin Luther King speech that they don't show us? Read what that brother said again, man.
Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow out steam
And this is the Martin Luther King speech that they don't show us, y'all. But go ahead.
will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual.
He said if they turn to business as usual, they're going to have a rude awakening. So he has something planned. I believe he wasn't going to sit down no more idle and just take the we not going to fight and continue to get beat up and go into jail. I think he was going to take that Nat Turner approach and start fighting. Because you know, Martin Luther King started actually dealing with Malcolm X before he died. Both of them started talking and conversing. Both of them they figured out that they were the children of Israel according to the Bible. Because Malcolm X said, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock landed on us. And Martin Luther King in another speech, he said, I've seen the promised land. He started speaking as one of the children of Israel according to the Bible because he knew who he was. He found out who he was. That's why I'm going to get to the Belafonte too. Because he said, man, I fear that I have brought my people into a burning house with the segregation, which he did. We were prosperous when we didn't have segregation. 1921. Y'all know what that's significant of, right? Black Wall Street. It was a black neighborhood. We had our own town. We had our own hospital. We had our own movie theater. We had our own rail station. That's right, sis. Yeah. So you already know, right? That's what's up. See, our people know. We waking up to the truth. We was prosperous as a people. But when we segregated, man, the white man got mad. During the Renaissance, he bombed our place of refuge. He bombed our town. Not only there, it didn't stop there. What was the other place that they bombed? It was Move in 1985. That's even further back. They bombed Philadelphia. They tore up Watson 65. And that was another prominent black neighborhood that was thriving and moving on its own. But they never tell you, oh, it was a riot. To make it seem like all the people was fighting each other. But you know who they was fighting and rioting against? This U.S. government called the police, the so-called white man. That's who they were fighting against. So go ahead and read that speech.
There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America.
See, Martin Luther King was like, it ain't gonna be no rest. I'm gonna go harder. But go ahead.
Neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights.
That means he was gonna go hard from year to year to year. He probably would have started getting into violence. Because to protect your home, to keep your people from getting killed, you gotta get physical. Because if you just stand there and turn the other cheek, you always gonna get beat, right? But go ahead.
The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundation of our nation.
Wait, he said the whirlwind revolt. That means it is going to start be uprisings all over America because there's one man. Well, go ahead.
Will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright days of justice emerge.
He was like, we're not going to let up. It's going to get worse. I'm going to tell my people to start doing things that they never did before. Well, go ahead.
And that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warring threshold which leads into the palace of justice.
Only way you're going to get the palace of justice is through fight. Numbers 35, verse 30.
Whoso killeth any person, the murderer shall be put to death by the mouth of witnesses. But one witness shall not testify against any person to cause him to die.
See? It said the murderer shall be put to death. But go ahead, read that.
Moreover, you shall take no satisfaction for the life of a murderer, which is guilty of death, but he shall be surely put to death.
But as you read, the murderer shall surely be put to death. America was constantly murdering the so-called African-American man way back then. They still doing it today. So what do you think Martin Luther King was saying or going to tell his people? He was going to tell them, rise up and start fighting. Because the peace walks is done with. Well, go ahead.
Verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein you are, for blood it defileth the land.
See, the land is defiled through the blood of the bloodshed of the Native Americans, African Americans, and Latinos. But go ahead.
And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein.
So let's see how this land can be cleansed. Because everybody, oh, it's going to be peaceful, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. But go ahead.
But by the blood of him that shed it.